to unlearn most things I learned in Ukraine to now start learning again the Nigerian way of medicine. So I packed my things, my bags after 6 years in Ukraine medical school, came back to Nigeria. I received welcome home celebration from the airport, got home, and I think one of the first things that I did was to start preparing to write the Nigerian license exam. That was an interesting experience. I wrote my Nigerian license exam in Lagos, which was actually good because I know a lot of people that wrote theirs in interesting states and they actually went through a lot. So I wrote mine in Lagos, in Lute. So that was where I lodged and stayed throughout I think 3 months or so for the exam, where we have to learn the Nigerian way of medicine. Like, I have to unlearn most things I learned in Ukraine to now start learning again the Nigerian way of medicine. But I came back to my country to receive culture shock, like, on medicine. That was how it was for me. Took the training, the courses, and the classes in Lagos for that 3 months. I think it was from August to, like, October. So I think we wrote the exam in October, and then I went back home. Then my parents were living in Warri, so I went back to Warri, the other states. And the result came out, I think it was the end of October. And guess what? I passed! I get my license to practice medicine in Nigeria. I was so excited because imagine going to school outside of Nigeria. You know, people had this mentality or mindset that people that school outside of Nigeria, they are not so intelligent or so smart, or because we didn't go through the ruggedness, let me use that word, of studying in Nigeria. We are very soft. So we may not be able to learn and understand or be able to even pass certain exam or even blend in to the doctors and medical doctors here in Nigeria. But guess what? I excelled. I passed. I won. I was so excited. My family members were so excited. Came the day for the induction into the Medical Dental Council of Nigeria. So we had the ceremony in Abuja. So I went with my mom. It was an amazing experience. Amazing. I even got to meet some of my classmates that we graduated together and so many other people. We celebrated. We're sworn in into the Council of Nigeria to be able to practice medicine in Nigeria. And then next phase, housemanship. I feel like that's when my shaggy started. Like, that was when the welcome back to Nigeria for me actually started. You know, after that now, I got my license, of course, and everything. Went through that process and up. And I didn't really go through so much stress trying to get my license compared to some of my other friends that had issues. But mine was quite easy to be able to get my license. But it was my housemanship, getting a placement for housemanship. That was the problem. I know in Nigeria, again, that's part of the things that we're going to be discussing. You have to have certain type of connections. You have to know certain people. You have to do a lot of things just to actually get all your fundamental rights, something you're supposed to do. If for me to write the exam, I know that I'll write the exam and pass. Well, in this case now, it's not even just about the exam. It's about knowing someone in certain of those government hospitals, because that's where we are allowed to do our housemanship, state hospitals, federal hospitals. So for me, while I was in Ukraine, I forgot to mention, I asked myself, if I was going back to Nigeria, where do I want to do my housemanship? So I'm from Ondo State. Actually, that's my state of origin, or town to be precise. But I was born in Warri, Delta State. So at that time, I can't remember, I think I'd been to Owo for some time, but I had never really been to Akure. That's the state capital for Ondo State. So I told myself, maybe I should do my house job in Akure. And I'm someone that if I set my mind to something, I stick to it. So that's the market I came back to. That how difficult will it be now? I'm from Ondo State. Bear in mind again, I don't speak Yoruba. In fact, you guys are going to hear that one later. I don't speak the language. But I said, you know what? I'll go to Akure and do my house job. I will get it. Everything will be easy. I just had that mindset. I was also enthusiastic and optimistic about it. Came back to Nigeria, fast forward, did my induction. Now time to start applying to get placement. I think I tried Lagos. My mind was still set on Akure. I tried Lagos, I tried everything. So I started my own place. My dad was doing different places. But since my mind was set on Akure, I told my dad, I actually want Akure. I want the state general hospital precisely in Akure. I didn't even say, oh, I wanted Akure. My dad was like, okay, you will start asking people, because that's where we're from Ondo State. Started asking people, we contacted so many people in Akure. They were just giving so many excuses, so many this, the exam is this, the exam is that. I didn't even know what I was getting myself into. So that's how one day I was like, you know what? I need to go to Akure. I need to move, not even go. I needed to move to Akure. Why? Because they said there was no placement, but then I can come and start doing locum. That was the first time I heard the word locum. I'm like, oh, locum. I don't think locum is going to be so bad. I'm like, okay, at least I will start learning the experience before, and to be easier. It also said that it would be easier for them to confirm me if I actually go, like, start with locum first. I can easily ease myself into the system. That was how they deceived me. So anyway, I told my dad that I am moving to Akure. This was like still when I just graduated, as I just did my induction. I wanted to just do everything. I didn't want to just stay at home. I really wanted to start working. But like I'm moving to Akure. That was like same journey. Like nothing you can do. I packed my bags, packed everything. I moved to Akure. I didn't know anybody. I had families in Akure, but I didn't really know anybody personally. You get in Akure. But I moved to Akure with that mindset of I really wanted to do my house job there. I think I stayed with families for a while. I can remember when I moved to Akure, I started staying with some families. I went to the state council for to get the job and to apply and then to get the placement for the housemanship. I can remember very well that I wrote an exam and I also did like a short interview. I knew very well that I knew that I did very well. I knew that I did very well, but guess what? They told me that, oh, they had a certain number, like a cutoff, for the number of people that they want to take for the first batch. I'm like, okay, no problem. I was in Akure. They came and said, oh, after the first batch, okay, when is the second batch? I think the second batch was supposed to be like a few months after. Maybe like 3 months or 4 months after. I'm like, okay, no problem. I can stay in Akure and start and be working there. So I wrote like a letter to the chairman then of the council in Akure that I would like to maybe do locum. You should just give me like a letter of recommendation that I can take to the state hospital in Akure so I can start doing locum. Bear in mind, locum I'm doing free of charge. He wrote the letter. I was like, fantastic. I'm sure in his mind, he was like, this lady, we're going to use her very well. They really used me, honestly. He wrote the letter. I took the letter. I took it to the state hospital. They stamped it. They said I can start the next week. That's the Monday of the next week. So that's how I started. My first unit was in O&G. I was in O&G for 6 months, unpaid. I stayed in O&G, worked my ass out. I was working like every other house officer. I was taking calls. I took deliveries. I even did surgery like CS. I did episiotomy. I did every single thing that every house officer would do for 6 months unpaid. Why? Because I came back to Nigeria to serve my country. I think there were times where I wanted to just say no. I was telling myself no, but I'm just going to give up. But I'm someone that I really, when I set my mind to do something, irrespective of the turnout or the process, I just keep pushing. So 5 months down the line, I knew that I was getting to the 6th month, that if I don't do something about it, then I might continue like this for a year, and they may forget that I am doing locum unpaid, and give that I'm not being confirmed as a house officer. So it means that those 6 months were not going to be added to the 1 year I was going to spend or work as a house officer. So I was just doing 6 months learning, more like internship for free. I had not been confirmed to become a house officer. So 5 months down the line, strike happened. My first ever strike in Nigeria. My second welcome to Nigeria shock that I received. So they went on strike. Why? Because they were not paying doctors. They were not paying the resident doctors. They were not paying the medical officers. They were not even paying the house officers. They were not paying any doctor in general. They had not paid them for about 4 months or 5 months. I was like, me, I'm not even collecting salary. People that have been working, that are confirmed, that are medical officers, senior medical officers, consultants, resident doctors, they didn't even pay them for months. So I couldn't even complain. I was just doing my work. Then I went on strike the 5th month of my locum. We went on strike. We're not working, so I had to stay at home. So I was at home, not working. I've not gotten any confirmation. I was not yet the house officer. 5 months. One of the things that I did was I had to pray. I'm a Christian, so I believe in prayers. I believe in faith, just trusting God and believing God. So I had to pray, and there was one specific request I asked for God. I said I wanted the confirmation. There were two things. Number one was I wanted confirmation. Number two, I wanted to call off the strike. I want the strike to be called off for my sake. Because I knew that the strike can easily last for 2 months, 3 months. So I wanted them to call up the strike. And I wanted confirmation. I wanted them to send me a letter to say that I am now part of the list, in the list for the next batch of house officers in Akure State General Hospital. No, I think this was in 2016. It was around August or July. It was around July. That's when I made this prayer and I believed God. August 1st, they called off the strike. That's one. Number two, the list for the next batch of house officers they were going to enlist into the hospital came out. My name was number one. Like number one on the list. I was so excited. I was so happy because I knew that, okay, I didn't give up one and this was something I've always wanted. I was so excited, and then I actually started my house job. But guess what? I had so much advantage and I had so much favor because I already used to the system. I'd been there for 6 months. I already used to the system. I'd already known the consultants, the people. So I'd already built a relationship with them. So when I started my house job, I just eased into it. Guess what they did? I mentioned earlier that the 6 months was just a waste, but it wasn't a waste actually. They wrote off my O&G unit and told me to start afresh, start from the next unit. So it means that they counted those 6 months for me, but I had to do an additional 2 months. So that's 1 year and 2 months. It's supposed to be 1 year and 6 months. I was so happy about that. I was so grateful to God. It was easier for me because I was not the one teaching the new house officers that were in the same set with me. Why? Because I already had the experience. I already know the ground, the layout, the environment. So I was the one. I was feeling like the top house officer. I was the top. I was the most senior house officer, anyways. So that's how I was feeling like. And then I went through that 1 year experience. So I moved from O&G. Then I went to pediatric. That was my second rotation. So I loved pediatric. That was interesting. It was amazing. You get to really understand life when you take care of newborn babies. I really got to understand life. So I moved from pediatrics. I think my third was internal medicine. It was 4 rotations. And the internal medicine covers every other general medicine. And the fourth one was surgery. Guess where I decided to move to. Just guess if I decided to stay in Akure or I decided to move to. Just guess the states in the comment section.